Welcome to World Tide News, where we navigate the powerful currents shaping our world. Today we turn our focus to the Horn of Africa, where fiery rhetoric over the Red Sea port of Assab threatens to spark a new crisis between Ethiopia and Eritrea. Two high-ranking Ethiopian generals have startled the nation in recent weeks, openly claiming that the Red Sea port of Assab, now part of Eritrea, was given away illegally by a previous regime.
የታሪክ ትስስር አለን ስንል ይሄ ባህር እኛ ጋር ነበረ። ይሄ ባህር አሰብ ነው የነበረው። አሰብ ደግሞ እንደምታውቁት ራስ ገዝ ነው የነበረውና ብዙ ነገሮችን ማንሳት ይቻላል። ወደ ሚዲያ ባናመጣውም እነኚህን ነገሮች በጓዳ በደንብ ማውራት ጀምረናል ከነሱ ጋራና
In a state of genuine disbelief. A senior Ethiopian military official has just made statements so irresponsible, so delusional, that they demand to be confronted with facts, history, and law. Major General Teshome Gemechu, Director of International Relations at Ethiopia's Ministry of Defense, claims Ethiopia has the right to demand sea access, specifically Assab.
Their rhetoric is unambiguous. It is time, by any means, to return Assab to Ethiopian hands. Is this merely the bravado of rogue officers? A fleeting gaffe? Such speculation seemed plausible until the words came from the very top. During a primetime interview on the eve of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam's inauguration, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed weighed in. He called the loss of Assab a recent historical blunder, just 30 years past. The mistake took place yesterday and will be corrected tomorrow, he said, signaling to Eritrea, and indeed the world, that he regards Assab's return as an achievable, perhaps inevitable goal. Yet shortly thereafter, the Prime Minister's visit to the Ethiopian Air Force yielded a stark, telling message. The Air Force is ready, he remarked, an unmistakable signal that Ethiopia's military is preparing for conflict. Some have called this a mere rallying cry, a populist ploy to deflect scrutiny from Ethiopia's mounting problems. Others warn it is more than that, a genuine escalation setting the stage for conflict. Why would Ethiopia's leader so casually court international outrage and risk a new war? Is it national survival, wounded pride, or personal ambition to secure a legacy as the man who reclaimed the sea? The answer is elusive. But one thing is certain, war with Eritrea would shatter what remains of Ethiopia's fragile stability. The scars of the Tigray war are fresh. Experts estimate up to 600,000 dead, millions displaced, and an economy crippled. The Tigray Defense Forces came within 130 kilometers of Addis Ababa before a ceasefire halted the bloodshed.
Ceasefire occurred after fighting re-erupted inside Tigray on August the 24th. People are talking about hundreds of thousands of combatant deaths just in this last 2 months of fighting. You then have the region go into complete isolation again. The few humanitarian services that had started up since the fighting ended in December, January, since the March truce, they were immediately cut. The prospect of services resuming then becomes more distant, and then you have all the devastation that's caused sort of directly by the conflict. So this period of conflict has compounded an already incredibly difficult situation for a region of around 6 million people, most of whom are assessed as needing some form of humanitarian assistance.
The government, battered and spent, did not secure victory, but survival at great cost. Against this backdrop, the idea of waging war on Eritrea, a nation with a battle-hardened mechanized army, disciplined forces, and modern weaponry, borders on the reckless. Ethiopia would be the clear underdog. International law stands firmly against such aggression. The devastation for both nations, should bullets fly, would dwarf any fleeting gains, plunging the Horn of Africa back into chaos and ruin. There are choices for Ethiopia. Djibouti's port remains a commercial lifeline.
Djibouti has been a major maritime passage between the east and west for centuries, serving as a transit route for merchants mostly from Egypt, Rome, Greece and the Arabian Peninsula. But since independence in 1977, Djibouti ports have evolved to primarily meet the growing needs of its landlocked neighbor Ethiopia.
Somalia and Eritrea have both, at times, offered peaceful port access. The region is already a tinderbox. Now is the moment for statesmanship, not saber-rattling. The real legacy will belong not to the leader who reopens old wounds in search of the sea, but to the one who finds a way to peaceably share its bounty for generations to come. Yet as the war drums beat louder in Addis Ababa, the silence from the international community is deafening. Will the world once again turn a blind eye as the Horn of Africa lurches toward disaster? And what of the African Union, headquartered in Ethiopia's own capital? Will it rise to defend core principles of sovereignty and peace, or be reduced to a passive bystander, eroding its own credibility with every word left unsaid? It should not take a prophet to foresee that a fresh conflict would not stay confined to the border. The fallout, a tidal wave of refugees, shattered economies, and regional instability would spill across Djibouti, Sudan, Somalia, and beyond. Millions are at risk. One false step, one provocation too many, could ignite a humanitarian catastrophe in a region already battered by war and hunger. So we end with a simple question. If governments and institutions fail to act with wisdom and restraint now, who will answer to the people of the Horn when the fire finally sweeps through their lives? This is World Tide News. If you value staying informed about the forces shaping our world, please like, share and subscribe. See you in the next report. Thank you for watching.